Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to show you how to create the Jade Viper bracelet. This is an original design created by Allie on Instagram. I'm going to link her Instagram handle right here so you can check out her page. I think it's a really cool design. It's very unique and it does take a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it for sure. You'll need about 390 bands total. The breakdown of that is 154 of this opaque clear. There's 6 rows of them running in the back here. You will need 118 of this medieval blue, 94 of this Persian sun, and you will need 24 of the white that is sitting right here in the center. To make this bracelet, you will need to have at least 6 bar pins. For a full-length bracelet, you will need 2 sets of them, so 12 total, and you'll just have both sets set out one in front of the other. For tutorial purposes and to save on time, I'm only going to use 1 set, so it will be about this big, but I will tell you exactly how many to lay if you're doing a full-length bracelet. Also make sure that your loom is set out with the 2 centers aligned, and then the diagonal ones on the side going downwards. So with that all being said, we're first going to start laying these side clear band borders. And I'm going to use the same clear right now. We're going to start by laying 1 across the center, and that's for when we close it later. We're going to go out to the right 2 times. And we'll do the same on the left side, going out to the left 2 times. Now we're going to go straight up the sides. So starting from this corner pin, that will be the first one we lay. And from there, counting that as 1, you're going to lay a total of 23 of them. After you lay 23, you will bring it into the center. And that is, of course, if you're using 2 sets of looms. If not, then you'll just do what I'm doing, which would be laying only 11 of them. So after you have laid 23, you'll be down at the end of your second set of looms. Once you lay 23, you're going to bring it diagonally into the center 2 times, and it will look like that. So you'll then go ahead and do the same exact thing on the left side once you have all of your right side done, excuse me. Just like on the right side, once you lay 23 of them, you will bring it diagonally in to the center. And now both sides are matching. So from here, I'm going to stick with the same color. You can choose a different color if you'd like. But we are now going to be laying single chains on all of the remaining rows. So all 4 of these, we're going to lay the same straight row. And it will be all of these rows here. I'm going to stick to the same color. And it doesn't really matter which row you lay first. I'm just going to go ahead and do my centers. And we're going to lay them straight down. So we're going to lay straight down all the way on those 2 and then do the same thing on these 2. Okay, so go ahead and hit the pause button until all of your rows are laid. When you are done, it should look like this. All 6 of your rows should have single chains running down it like so. Alrighty, so now we're going to be laying like the main pattern for the bracelet, and it does take a little bit of patience, and I also recommend having your hook close by. The first colors we're going to lay right now are going to be what this medieval blue is right here, and you do see it a little bit in the middle. So I'm going to use baby blue for that. From the outer bar pin, we're going to count 1 in, so we'd be on the 2nd bar in, and we're going to lay a diagonal band going in towards the center. And we have to do the same on the right side, like that. Now we do need to place a cap band going around both of these 2 middle ones, and that's where I like to use my hook. So I'm going to grab my hook, wrap the band around 2 times, and then I'm going to take the whole cap band and place it on. You can also place the cap band on one of the pins and then use your hook to stretch it over. But for this design, I find that my hook ends up getting caught in this band. So I like to do it that way for this design, but it's up to you. So keep those bands close by. But now we're going to move on to our next color, which is going to be this Persian sun band here. The first ones, we're going to be laying 2. The first ones will be the ones that sit in the middle. And then when we lay the second ones, it will be the ones that sit right there, just in case you want to do 2 different colors. That's up to you. So I'm going to use olive green, and from the very center where we just left off, we're going to go diagonally out to the right 2 times. And we'll do the same on the other side. Like so. Like I said, if you do want the bracelet to look like this, where the middle band and that band are different, all you would do is right here, instead of laying another green, you would just lay a different color. So now we are going to choose, you don't see it a whole lot, but it's the white in this bracelet right there. So once it's closed, you don't really see it, but I'm going to use pink. On the center pin again, we're going to be stretching this pink band across these 2, but also up to the 2 in front. So we're going to be making a square like that. And now we're ready to start laying all of those all over again. So we'll go back to our first color, which is blue. This time we will be laying 2 bands each time. So we'll lay the first one going diagonally in from the corner, and then we'll do that again going into the center. And then do the same thing from the opposite side, laying 2 in towards the center. And we now need to do our cap band. So wrap it around your hook 2 times. And then stretch it across both of those center pins. And push it down just so we have more room, because we have to lay 2 more layers. So after that, we now need to go in the opposite direction and lay my olive green going outwards. So from the center, I'll go out 2 times. And anything we do on one side, we have to do on the other. Every time I'm done laying my green, which is going outwards, that's when I have to lay the square band. So that's going to be my pink. And on the center, I'm going to make a square connecting up to the 2 pins in front. Push that down, and we'll start that all over again with my blue. If for some reason you get ahead of me and you're not quite sure where to start, you just look for wherever your last blue were, which mine are here. So I just come down to the next one, and that's where my next blue will start. And you just go in 2 times. Don't forget to add your cap band. And now we will lay our green. After the green, I have to lay my pink. Like so. And back to my blue. So I just recommend taking your time as you lay this, because if you start rushing, it's easy to accidentally lay them in the wrong order, or forget laying the pink band, or even forget the cap band, because I've done that. So just take your time, relax, have fun, because it takes a lot of time, and I'd hate for you to get to looping and realize you forgot to lay something. So I just laid my cap band. Every time you lay it inwards, you got to lay your cap band. After we lay it outwards, we lay the square. So we're just going to keep alternating between all of these colors until we get closer to the end of the loom. I just laid my green, so I'm going back to my pink square. And in my mind, every time I lay the pink square, I know it's time to start over again with the first color, which is blue. Okay, so I wanted to come back to normal speed to show you guys. I'm at the end of my loom. I've just laid my last blue going diagonally in, and I put my cap in. And you'll see that it's time to lay my green now, which I'm going to do. But I just want to show you that there is not enough pins to lay 2 green, because that's, you end where your border is, and my white border is there. So you just lay 1 green one going out like that. And that is how the end will be for either of us, whether you're doing 1 loom or 2 looms. Once you get to the very end, there's only enough room to lay 1, just like how we started it. And then you are going to still end with your pink square, just like we did before. Just like that. So once you guys are all caught up, since I'm only doing 1 loom length, you probably have a lot more to go, but just hit the pause button once you're all caught up. Then turn your loom around. Make sure everything's pushed down and ready for looping, and then we can go ahead and start the looping process. So now we are going to grab 1 more color of our first color that we laid, which is my opaque clear, and we're going to place a cap band on the front 2 center pins for looping. So I just applied it to 1 pin, and now I'm going to grab the entire cap band and pull it over to the other side like so. So the first one we're going to be looping is this second band down right here, which is the pink one. So we're going to go into the cap band, and you kind of have to work this band off because it's connected to 2 pins. So I push the cap band out of the way. I grab the first band in there, which is the pink one. Let me zoom in for you. I'm going to work it off of the right one and then bring it over to the left so that I can get it off of the left one. Now that I have it, you're going to pull it up and connect it to both of the 2 center pins like that. Now we will go into those and grab the top layer, which is my green, and we're going to loop them down. Do that on both sides. We're still working inside this pink circle, but now we have to also go inside the blue cap band, which is right here. And we're going to be looping the blues now back to themselves. So you don't want to go too deep into the blue, because then you're going to grab that pink band out that's down there. So just gently move the blue cap band and grab your top band in there, which is my diagonal blue, and bring them both back to themselves, diagonally to the right, and repeat on the left side. Like so. And now we are ready to loop that pink band, which is right here, but you do need to go inside the blue cap band and grab it from in there. So just like I did the first time, I grab it on the right side, I kind of go around the right pin, and then I bring my hook over to the left and work it off of the left pin, and now you can just bring it forward and connect it to the 2 center pins in the front. A lot of times the band does get twisted. I have not noticed it to affect the bracelet at all, so don't worry if yours is. Once you bring the pink forward, we now need to loop the green down. So I usually go with the right side first. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to loop that green down. And we have another green that we now need to do because there's going to be 2 of them. And I kind of put my hook in towards the left a little bit to make it easier to grab this second diagonal green band and loop it down. Repeat on the opposite side. So I'm going to bring that down. I kind of go into that little opening right there and then move my hook around to grab it. It just makes it a little easier. I'm sure you all have your tips and tricks and, ways to make things easier. So the green is looped down. We're going to go into the blue cap band now right here and loop the blue diagonally up and out. Sorry if you just heard that bang. I think my son jumped upstairs. And out again, and repeat on the left side. Like so. So both of my blues have just been looped out. And now we are ready to start over and loop the pink again. I consider the pink being like the start of the next section, I guess. But I'm going to go into the blue cap band. Loop your pink square up to the 2 centers. We'll go inside of there and loop our green down. And then you'll go into that pin and loop that green down. We'll do the same on the left side. Like that. Now we will go into this blue cap band and loop the blue up and out. Make sure you're only getting the blue. I almost grabbed my pink. And now we're going to start that all over again. So we're going to keep alternating, starting with the pink, then we loop out the green, and then we loop out the blue. So I'll go into my cap band, loop my pink out. The greens will be looped down. The nice thing is everything gets looped back to itself, so that part is pretty straightforward. And if anyone was wondering, I don't know if you can tell, but the second band that gets looped down is not grabbing a hold of this bottom green band. It is supposed to be like that. I don't want anyone to be concerned. It will be looped out when we do the clear. But you might not even know what I'm referring to, but I don't want anyone to be worried, so I wanted to point that out. But now I am going to loop my blue out. And I'm back to my pink again. So just take your time, loop your greens down, loop your blues up and out, and your pink into the center. We will do this all the way up the loom. You can just keep following along. Okay, so I am at the top. I've just looped out my last blue, and as you can see, we only had one to loop out there, but we still did it the same way, except there was only one to loop out. We have no more pinks that will get looped forward, so the main part of the looping there is complete. Once you're caught up, come back and meet me at the beginning. So now we are going to be looping up the centers. So we're going to start by going into the cap band and looping the top band forward, which is my opaque clear. And we're going to do the same thing on the center left pin. So we loop those two both forward. And now we need to grab all of these bands right here that sit directly behind the pin and bring them forward. There's quite a few of them. We have the back side of the cap band of the pink and the front side of the cap band from the blue. So grab the entire chunk of those bands that are bundled together, and you're going to pull it towards yourself and sit it in front of the pin. There's a lot of tension. It is really tight, but just make sure the entire thing gets over the pin like that. And then we're going to go back to looping the clears forward again. So just go into the pin, push back all of the bands you just sat there. There's only one band left down there. Loop it forward. Do the same thing with the other one. Loop it forward. And once again, we're going to grab all of these bands that sit directly behind the pin. And you're going to pull them over it, pull it towards yourself, and let it go. Make sure it stays in front of the pin, like that. And we will now go back to looping up the clear. Make sure you're getting in front of all of those bands. Grab the bottom clear and loop it up on both pins. And now we will flip those bands over again. So remember, it's all of the ones that are sitting behind it. They're already kind of grouped together, so it's really easy to grab them all at once. And we will keep alternating between looping up the two center straight bands and then flipping those bands over. We will keep alternating like that all the way up the loom. This one right here is the last one that I flip over, so it's the second from the top pin. And then don't forget to loop the very last two forward, because your bracelet will fall apart if you do forget those two right there. So this is what it should be looking like right now. So we're going to come back to the beginning, once you're caught up with me, of course. And we're going to work on this right side for right now. So we're going to go into the front center pin, and you're going to loop that clear band diagonally inwards. And we're going to go into that pin, and we're going to be pushing back the top top three bands, and we're going to grab the fourth one, which should be the clear band that is the straight one on that pin. So it's the fourth band down, and you're going to loop that forward like so. And now we need to grab one band and flip it over. If you see this little opening right here, you can also see it right here, but I find it easier to do it from this opening. You're going to grab one band that sits right there. You don't want to push your hook all the way down and grab both of them, because then I'm going to be grabbing two bands. We only want to be grabbing this top one right here. So if I do it like this, you can see right here, I'm just grabbing the back top part of that green band and flipping it over. After you do that, we're going to push back the band. You're going to look down in there and grab the very bottom band, which is my clear. Loop it up. We're going to do the same thing and grab that band again. Now, depending on the bands you use, it can be easier to grab it from this space right here, because then you only have the option of grabbing one and you don't accidentally grab two. So if your bands are not too tight, you can reach right in that little hole right there, and there's only one band to grab and then flip it over. But I did notice, depending on the bands, sometimes it was impossible for me to grab it there. So you can grab it from either side, But again, if you grab it from this side, make sure you're not also grabbing the bottom one. Only one band should be flipped over, and then you'll go into that same pin, pushing back all of the top layers so that you're grabbing the very bottom clear. And loop it up. We will do that flipping step again. I'm going to go ahead and grab it from here since I'm capable of doing it with these bands. And loop the bottom. We will alternate flipping that one band over and looping the straight one up until we reach the top. I've made this a few times now, so it's definitely easier for me to grab this band, but just take your time since it's your first time making it, and don't accidentally grab two of them. It should only be one. So I just looped my last straight one forward there, and then we're going to come and do that exact same thing for this bar pin right here. So we're going to start in the left center pin this time. Bring that into the left. We're going to grab the fourth band down and loop it forward. And just like we did on the other side, we're going to grab the top band right here and flip it over. Push back the bands and grab the bottom and loop it up. And then grab that top band and flip it over. Okay, so I have both of mine done now, and now I'm going to show you how we do the outer borders. So it doesn't matter which side you start with. I'll actually do the left side first. You'll be able to see it a little bit better. So going into this pin where we left off, we will loop up the bottom border band. And then we'll go into that pin and do the same thing. We will loop up the bottom border band. Like so. And now we need to flip the blue bands over. So make sure my clear is sitting on top. So it is going to be the third and fourth band down that we're grabbing. So you can see my clear is the first. My green looks kind of yellow, but my green is the second. And then the third and the fourth will be these two blues. You're just going to grab them and flip it over. Just like that. Then we will go into that pin, push everything back except for the very bottom border band and loop that up. Once again, we need to flip over the third and fourth band. You do have to push your hook underneath in order to grab them. So you're going to really get your hook in there in order to get a hold of them both. Make sure you're not grabbing anything else like I almost just did. And simply flip them over. So we flip them and then do the border. And then once again, we flip the blue. And we will keep alternating between flipping those and looping the border up. So once again, I would highly recommend you just take your time with this part. Before you actually flip it, make sure you don't accidentally have any other bands on your hook. Sometimes other bands want to get pulled out with them. And this is definitely one of the designs that I would recommend using your hook to release all of the outer rows before you pull the middle off, because there is a lot of rows for this design, and it just makes it easier and it keeps things looking nicer. So I'm getting to the top of mine. Once you have completed all of yours, and you reach the top corner, all we're going to do is bring this into the center or towards the center, and then again the bottom band towards the center like so. And now you're just going to simply do the same exact thing on the right side. So starting from this pin where we left off, push back and grab the bottom, loop that out, and then loop this corner bottom band up, grab the very bottom. Just like we did on the other side, you're going to grab the third and fourth band down. You have to put your hook down in there. This side's always a little trickier for me to show. And flip it over. Loop up the border. And flip it over again. Once you reach that corner, you're just going to loop the border right up into the center. Like so. And then this band that we have down here is what we are going to attach our C-clip to. So I like to reach down into the left and grab the very bottom band. I hold on to that with my finger, and then I reach into the other side, bring both ends together, and attach my C-clip. Make sure it's on there properly. I don't like to let go of that until I have released some of the top rows, because sometimes that C-clip can pop off, and you most certainly don't want that happening right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and release all of my outer rows. Once you do that, then you can pull up on the center and take it off of the loom. So when I take it off of the loom, I definitely give it a nice big giant stretch in both directions. Sometimes the bands are just tucked in or pulled a little bit wonky, so definitely stretch it out. Just watch pulling up here too much. You do not want that to pop off. Your piece is obviously going to be much larger than mine. One thing that you can do for added security, thanks to the Rascal Mom for this idea, is two C-clips right here. They're just facing in opposite directions. So you can see that my C-clip opening is facing the right. When you attach it onto your cap band, you would just add another one in the opposite direction. It is a little fiddly to do, but I do recommend that for this design. So that is it. That is how you create the Jade Viper bracelet, created by Allie on Instagram. I want to thank her so much for this super cool and unique design. I want to show you guys the back of her awesome design as well. So this was a really fun one to make. If you guys do like it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to tag her and I will have her Instagram linked to this video. But for today, that will be it, you guys. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you all very soon at my next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye.